apply and optimize settings. Perfecto. We are live, I believe. I think we're live.
Let me close that off. I'm not seeing anything.
Live chat, nothing yet. Just checking. I think we're live. Yes, we have Catapat. Yo, Martin. Hello, people. We're live.
I can't see it. One sec.
What's going on, people?
Yeah, I can see it now.
It doesn't actually show me how many people are on the live, but I can see all the comments. Yo.
Here we are. Tori, one sec. Let's just test your...
There we go. 113 viewers. Nice. Damn, what took so long? Guys, you know what Bernie's like. It's just...
Sorry, guys. It wasn't me. There's this...
Tragic. Hello, Guts. I think you meant to say guys. Sounds a little low. Just testing. Can you guys see my chart moving? Just testing. Can you see this? Doing all kinds of madness. Just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Can you just confirm with me you see that? No comment, no comment. Yo, from Cali, what's going on?
I'm just checking everything on my side.
Yeah, just check. Can you see my charts moving? Well, I was just moving them. Can everyone see? I know there's probably going to be like a 5-second delay, 10-second delay, but yeah, good.
Yeah, sorry about that delay, guys.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. With due to COVID and due to everything else going on in the world right now, things have not been easy. Sorry with the Hercules hairstyle. I've got the Magic Man bun for you all today, and I've got the spectacles because things are getting serious in the crypto market.
Yeah, I know. I've never seen you put the spectacles on before for to do a bit of analysis. So
shit goes down when the specs are on. I need to see those candlesticks in 4K clarity. Slight lag. I think a little bit. That's fine, guys. I'll just take it slow. I'll take it easy. We'll just let the chat fill up. Looks Foots, Torres on fire. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Perfect.
I think there's a bit of delay on this, but we're just going to have to go with it.
Yeah, that's fine. Well,
so who's here? How many people are in the chat?
It says 214 for me. Might be different now.
Cool. But yeah, let's just have a little chat. Let some people come in. We started a little bit late, so people might be delayed coming in.
Yeah, definitely. Let some people come in first. But get the chat going, guys. Ask away. How is everyone? What's everyone been up to? BTC short live. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Keep growing it out, T. The ponytail. The man bun's going to keep growing. Don't worry about that. It's a work in progress. 252, 255. Nice. We're growing. 271 for me.
Someone said Tori looking hot today, you know. they must need your glasses.
It's that sexy, sophisticated look.
You pulled out the spectacles just for today, yeah?
No, I've been wearing them more recently, to be fair.
I've not seen you wear them. I can't remember the last time I wear glasses.
We've got a picture together wearing them, when I was wearing them.
Yeah, when? A couple of years ago.
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there might be a new audience. I need people to
whip them out today. Try and look for that intelligent look.
What do you mean intelligent look? I'm intelligent. I see these comments, guys. Comments popping off. Good to see. Everyone asked about BTC. I'm still in the trade. Literally went back to entry. It's pulled back down now. We're going to get into all of that in a second anyway. Don't worry about that. Can you learn us how to enter trades? That is coming. It's coming. Don't worry.
When OnlyFans.
A lot of people asking for OnlyFans. Me and Bernie have been discussing it. He's still on the edge. I'm ready to go.
Thinking about it.
Tuning in from Amsterdam. Nice. I need to go to Amsterdam again soon. I think Bernie needs to take a little visit with me.
Say that again.
Amsterdam. That could be one of our next trips.
Yeah, I think that's
clear your mind if there's any stress right now.
I think that's an ideal place for the first innovation market meetup.
You man seen Floyd Mayweather promoting IML. That fucked me up. I saw that last night. That was a madness.
2020 is just full of surprises, really, isn't it?
If that doesn't summarize 2020, I don't know what does. But then again, Floyd Mayweather, he was promoting bare ICOs and all that stuff when crypto first started popping off.
Yeah, I remember that. When didn't he try to basically fund like one of the shit coins or something?
Yeah, and then it got fucked. It got
what coin
absolutely
was
wrecked.
it? You remember?
I forgot. I think it was Ventura or something. I think DJ Khaled jumped on it as well. But Floyd Mayweather's
does anything for a bit of money, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's about his money.
He's done a few weird things before. Like for someone that has a lot of money, he's done a few weird like endorsements that he wouldn't expect.
There's been some questionable endorsements, but I guess he's probably getting paid dumb money. So it's like, why not in it? He don't care. Like he'll promote IML. He doesn't care what the consequences are because he's got his paycheck.
I'd love to say whether doing a bit of trading.
Can you welcome my friend Nils? He's a big fan. How's it going, Nils? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Got that Clark Kent thing going on. See, Bernie, no one's calling you Clark Kent. No? Let's see what we've got here.
I really love Superman. I ain't got pretend. Bernie the body snatcher.
Corona. Bernie filming on an LG cookie. Oh shit.
What are they seeing? Is it blurry on my side?
When do you all start so I can get food? No, we're gonna jump on soon. We're just letting everyone talk. Let everyone. You should get David Icon. Maybe one day we'll get David Icon. Ridiculously real. That beautiful. He is a money lover. He will mention any company. Yeah, that's true. That's basically.
It's a bit blurry, isn't it?
What's blurry? You.
Yeah.
Man's using a toaster.
What else is going on? Who's in lockdown? Who here is in lockdown? We're in the UK. Everyone in the UK obviously is in lockdown. Where's everybody else from?
Just wait for the comments to come through. I think I can refresh the chat as well, but it's coming in pretty quick to be fair. XRP analysis, yep, that's coming in. Don't worry. We got BTC, Ether, Link, and XRP to go over. Bernie, what are you going over again?
What the people want. We got US dollar, gold, Euro USD. I've got some other charts open. It depends how long it takes. I'm looking at Gbp Jpy, Euro JPY, Euro AED. You know me. I like to go over a few things. But yeah, there's a few things there so we can go over.
I'm looking forward to commentating as you analyse.
Well, there's loads from Germany here.
Damn,
France,
these comments
Canada,
are popping. Malaysia.
Hong Kong. Detroit. Oil. Yeah, I can cover oil quickly. South Africa, Denmark, EJ, yeah, I'll do EJ, oil, yeah, I'm gonna quickly cover that. Yeah, New York. What does everybody? We probably shouldn't go into that. What's everybody thinking about the president?
Yeah, I want to hear about this, guys.
He's in now.
Election fraud or no election fraud?
You really like to touch on the touchy subjects.
It's good. Let's see what people are saying. See if I'm on the same wavelength. Is this going to be recorded, guys? I've got to go. Lance. You can't believe in us like this. We haven't even started yet.
Can't record greatness.
Feels rigged. Oh, massive voter fraud. Fraud.
No election fraud.
Look at these comments. Mad.
A lot of people want the BTC. Election fraud, no fraud, defo fraud. Oh, there's a lot of fraud. There's a lot of people thinking fraud.
Trump won. People know.
Dead people can vote now. There's
No
a lot of
election
fraud. There's more fraud. There's like 80-90% fraud.
We need peace in Middle East. You're not going to get that if Biden gets elected.
We're not here to talk politics.
No.
Let's just. I just want to see.
Crazy.
But the reason we need to talk about, obviously, the election is because I don't know if anybody held positions on Friday, but there could be some big gaps. We might even see it while we're live because it's 9 o'clock now.
Oh yeah.
Market opens in an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and we might see some big jumps. We might see some big gaps here.
True. I'll take my time a little bit so it can push towards 10 p.m. That'll be interesting to see live. Actually, I'll be interested to see that because I haven't even really monitored the forex market in a while. I've let you just do your thing.
Taking my trades, isn't it?
It'll be mad actually. Snake, Google it, man. They're on the way to prison.
Who?
I don't know. I'm presuming.
Someone just said. I don't know if I can swear, but someone said, "F, I'm long on USD CAD." But anybody with a USD position, you might be okay. But I would have got out on Friday really because, yeah, who knows what's going to happen when that market opens. Because the decision's been made now, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. But I guess
at the same time, it's still not 110%. It's still up. Like he's not given in, Trump. So
no, you got to understand
how the market's going to react to that.
Yeah.
But saying that, that's why this week, of course, we would pick this week to do a live analysis. But this week is potentially for Forex one of the hardest weeks to try and analyze before the market opens because anything can happen at the start of this week.
And I think it's been so mad, don't you think? There's so many people who are just saying like, what should we trade? Should we enter this? Should we enter that? Should I do this? Should I do that? And we're just like, guys, you don't. Bernie, you probably saw Bernie's tweets. You don't need to be in the markets. There's no urge. There's no urgency. You just got to take
last week. Well, last week it wasn't as mad as it normally is for election. Like, obviously, there was a big push up on gold. There was a push up on a few pairs, or the dollar sold off. But there wasn't that sort of volatility that you normally see on election day or election week. But that's because it's been a drawn out process. So nothing's really been too active. But I stayed out in the market because we had such great weeks previous. But yeah, you don't need to be in the market. You don't have to be trading every day or every week. But there's obviously some nice opportunities in the market last week. But having that self-control to stay out, just knowing that you don't have to trade every day.
Yeah, I agree. There's never an urgent. The markets are there 24/7. Crypto especially is there 24/7, and Forex is still there 5 days a week. It's not like if you miss out on trading during the election period, it's not like the market's ending next week. Yeah. The market will open exactly the same 10 p.m. UK time for us. So there's no stress. There's no need to just rush in. It is just pure gambling, in my opinion.
You like that the crypto market is open 7 days a week?
Do I like it?
Yeah, or would you like it?
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, because obviously a lot of people that's a problem. A lot of people who trade Forex and crypto, sometimes they're so addicted to trading and they don't give themselves any time. As soon as the market shut on Friday for Forex, then they start looking at crypto. But even though I love trading, I like for Forex, I like that obviously there's 2 days that is closed because then, I mean, you switch off.
Yeah, that's the blessing for you, I guess, because you can actually just take a break. Whereas even on the weekends, no matter what I'm doing, subconsciously I have to check the charts. It's like I have to see what's going on because crypto can sometimes be more volatile on the weekends, and there's not even any reason for that. It's not even like a fundamental reason. It just goes crazier on the weekends for some reason.
Because everyone who trades Forex is trading crypto.
Yeah, I do feel like that is a problem. A lot of people are probably switching over to that market straight after. Let's read some of these. Get Torre and ASMR Mike. You lot are mad. Would you recommend trading during December? I mean, we've seen what crypto can do during December, but generally...
I love trading in December. December is... The last quarter of the year, I think, is the best time to trade.
What's your reasons behind that?
Just experience. Every, the last quarter, especially the last 3 months, leading like November, December, is always really good. There's always seems to be nice, good movement in the market. To be fair, last year wasn't as good as previous years, but every other year that I've been trading for, I can't remember how long, I used to always love that lead up to Christmas, getting that Christmas money as well. But you see some nice volatility coming up. So everybody knows the end of the year's coming. So there's a lot of trades happening. There's a lot of volatility in the market. But yeah, I've always loved that kind of run up, like the run up that we're in now. Order this month, it should be good, and December should be really good as well.
Do you think the elections are going to impact the Christmas kind of trading volatility?
Potentially, it all depends on what's going to happen this week and the next couple of weeks.
I think if they drag this on,
that's going to cause a good bit of volatility because there's still not 100% certainty. There's still going to be a lot of stuff happening. Yeah, and the US dollar could be quite choppy but volatile over the next few weeks. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, especially this week. I think this week's going to be good.
I think especially if you think about like what could, if there is going to be election fraud, or if they are going to start investigating things, can you imagine how many headlines could be coming out until January? Just like 1 minute it could be like fraud potential, or there'll be like an investigation, or Trump takes this state to the Supreme Court. There could be so much going on, and the markets could be mad.
Yeah, and the other thing, like there's obviously in the UK, Brexit, there could be a jump on the pound when the market opens, because obviously the UK, Boris was best pals with Trump. Now it might have changed if Biden comes in, so there could be a little bit of a difference. And obviously the UK also has a lot of the Brexit coming up, so there's a lot coming. So I think that the next couple of weeks is going to provide really good trading, intraday and like swing trades as well.
I'm hoping that starts to reflect on crypto as well soon. We're not really seeing any real fundamental impact yet. Again, I don't know. A lot of people are obviously saying like, oh, well, the elections have caused this, they've caused that, but I don't think anything's really caused anything. Nothing from the elections has caused a significant drop. Like even when I called the reversal and we dumped like a few hundred pips or a few $100s on BTC, that was just a normal day in crypto anyway. It wasn't like we saw a massive 3,000 pip drop. Nothing has actually changed. So the Forex market could potentially be a lot more wackier because nothing's reflected yet. I think if we saw a change in the crypto market dynamics due to these elections, then it would slowly become more fundamental based. But it's just showing now that it's just doing its own thing. It really doesn't care. It's interesting. Let's see what everyone's saying. Sorry, can you turn up your volume? I feel like my volume's pretty high.
Talk louder.
Hello. Should I bring the mic like right here? Is that louder?
Yeah, that's louder.
Cool. Let's just set that up. Perfect.
Okay, what you want to do? Do you want to start first?
Yeah, let's go. I'll jump into the crypto side. I was just reading some of these comments quick. Taking wins on crypto all the way from Namibia, thanks to Torre. When will aliens take over? Man, aliens are coming. Just watch out. They're ready to take over. But yeah, let's get into the crypto side first. Then Bernie can shift over. What's the time now? 9:06. Should give Bernie some time for that potential Forex market open. So can everyone just confirm they're seeing me switch tabs? I'm switching from CME futures to BTC to Ether to Link to XRP. So again, we'll start off with CME futures. Can everyone just confirm that? Let me just check. Once those comments come in and confirm, then I will begin Operation Crypto.
A slight delay.
Yes. All right, cool. Let's get started then. So easily, first thing I need to mention, I do this on every breakdown anyway, but I feel it's important, is the CME futures chart, because everyone always asks me, does it 100%, do the gaps have to get filled? Does this have to get filled? Can it just go on a bull run without filling the gaps? And yeah, of course it can. It's the same way anything can happen in any market. No matter what happens, no one really expected BTC to go to $20,000, but it did. But now that CME futures has come into the game from December 2017, the market's been impacted massively by this. Like, I would say this is one of the sole drivers of market manipulation, because the CME futures charts as well, it's not, the thing is now, because everyone uses it, it doesn't necessarily give you a major advantage, but it gives you a good insight. You couldn't necessarily predict and find tops and bottoms, or you couldn't really find intraday opportunities, but by looking at the gaps, it can give you a good idea of what could potentially come next. So you're always going to have to use the normal charts, and again, I've got my own strategy for doing that now, but to give me overall downside targets, whether that's for long-term swings or whether that's for even intraday trades, depending on how close we are to the gaps, it does seem like to me, no matter what happens, these gaps always get filled inevitably before we start seeing any kind of movement. So whether that's bullish or bearish, major gaps here, if you actually fill this gap and drag it to where the candle kind of broke out and closed, and then we had the gap there, the gap hasn't been filled. So when you drag it back down to here, you can see there's a major gap. Came down, it kind of tapped, but we didn't fill this gap entirely. So that leaves it open to me personally. And when it comes to major gaps like this, you never really see them unfulfilled. Look at this gap here. Look at that candle there. Bang. You're pretty much dead on. Just pushed up to that region there and filled the gap. So no matter where you go back in time, really, all kinds of gaps here. You see the gaps where it filled from there? This came in and filled. But it didn't just fill from the very wick. It came back and actually filled up there as well. So the market, it tends to, and history has shown, that the gaps always get filled at some point. It may not be pinpoint. Look over here, there was a major gap filled over there, came up. The first wick actually fell short. It didn't actually fill the entire gap. The second wick just annihilated it, and then from there the gap got filled. So when you're looking at it, what are you saying?
Yeah, maybe try and zoom in a little bit, because a few people said they can't see the numbers too well.
Is that a bit better? I'll just wait for everyone to confirm. Let me just check the Streamlabs.
I think it can see clearly, but I'm just if you zoom in a little bit, they might be able to see the clear.
Yeah, that's perfect. Can everyone just tell me if they can see that? If you can't see the numbers too clearly, I'll just give you the numbers out loud. And move the cursor slower. Okay, cool. No problem. Can't see the numbers. Yeah, that's fine, guys. I'll read that out manually if you can't see. Can you see the charts though? Is everything else clean? Yeah, good. Just need to zoom. That's cool. Well, the first thing to look at here is the gap. So let's just say, theoretically, from where the candle's kind of closed, we're looking at around $9,700. So since we've formed that gap and we kind of boosted off from around $10,000 to around 9,975, we have not come back. Yes, we've come back and filled where the gap was kind of formed, but we haven't come back and filled where the initial gap kind of started. So where the gap kind of finished, came back down, but this is still unfulfilled. If we go over here and I drag this down, we can see at 11,200, even when the wick came back down, the wick was not tapped, the candle body was not tapped. This gap has not been filled yet either. So we have two major crucial gaps in the market. We're looking at 9,700 to 9,600. That's the first major gap for me personally. And then secondly, coming down, we've got 11,200 and 11,100. So those are the major gaps. You've obviously always got those little gaps there on the way and stuff, but that's nothing to really worry about. The only other gap I had, it wasn't really even a gap. It was more, if I go to the 4 hour, it wasn't really a gap. It was more of a resistance level I plotted on this particular time frame and on this chart. So there wasn't really a major gap. If I go to the weekly as well, you can see the candle kind of pushed up higher. It didn't necessarily open where the prior one closed, but that's nothing significant. Those are not major gaps. But when you go to the weekly and you still see those major gaps there, like here and here, it's more likely that's going to be filled because it's very significant and it's left a big placement on the weekly time frame. So all you want to do is just keep in mind that we have two potential downside targets. And when I always say this, with crypto, you always have to look at the bigger picture. When you go to the monthly time frame, even on the CME futures charts, it's very easy to get caught up and see this and think, wow, this is huge. But once you're on the monthly, you realize, and I'll show you this on the main BTC chart as well. When you see a candle of this size on a monthly, this is actually a lot smaller than what the prior monthly candle was on the CME futures chart. So the candles are very insignificant in comparison to what a lot of people make them out to be. And if we go over, this was beautiful. We'll get to this all in a second now. First, we'll just go to the weekly time frame and then the daily and the monthly, sorry. So if I go to the monthly, let's look at the current candle. that's the current candle. Let's put this down and I'll zoom in a bit more just so you guys can see as clear as possible. When you look at this candle in comparison to the prior month, it's insignificant. There's still a huge amount left of that candle there. So when we go back in time, we can see these kind of movements happen all the time. You can see how insignificant this candle is in the grand scheme of things to what's actually going on and what BTC is capable of doing. So when you've got all these people watching BTC on the 1 hour time frame, for example, and if we zoom out and if all you see is this, then yeah, you're definitely going to be thinking, whoa, this is just not stopping. It's going to go up and up and up and up. If you go to the 4 hour, you can see again. By the way, these are the CME futures gaps marked out on the red. We've got 11,200 and 9,600, which I'll get to shortly as well. But can you just see here, even from the 4 hour perspective, if you were watching this chart right now, all you would be seeing is pure bullish momentum. So it wouldn't even cross your mind to look at this and go, oh my God, we're going to fall soon. But it's once you start looking at the daily. Again, now the daily's formed. I've already given the short. It's formed now, it's gone, potentially. We may not pull back down now. This may just dump. It's looking very promising in my favor. So if we see in 2 hours and 45 minutes, a great bearish daily candle closure, we could start seeing our descent. Maybe not all the way to 8,000 yet. That's going to come in a second as well. But we could still be seeing that drop to 13,000 and the $11,000 region as well. But if you go to the weekly, you can see bullish, bullish, bullish. But guys, has history not repeated itself? When we go bullish for too long, we inevitably come back down. And I covered this on the Twitter the other day as well. I've called every single market reversal, major market reversal in the crypto market. Sometimes I've been a bit off, and then I've had to recalculate and enter again, but I've given every single one. So I'm going to go off what I've done every single time prior and apply that to this scenario as well. And it's already looking like it could potentially be coming through. So what I done on Twitter as well, again, just being completely honest, what I said was I was going to allocate free setups to this. So I had 3 setups prepared at 3 different levels. I was first looking at shorting from the $4,900 region around here when we first came up. So what I said was 3 positions and 3 potential setups, one from $14,900, one from around 15,360 or around this 15,450 level, and the final setup was from 15,650. However, I ended up getting in at 15,680, which you'll see on the MT4 on Twitter as well. So I ended up getting it in a good price, but the first 2 trades didn't work out. So I actually calculated. It wasn't just random gambling. It wasn't just sporadic short, short, short. It wipes me out short again. There was no emotion involved because I'd already premeditated 3 potential setups and I allocated 3 trades and I allocated 3%. So when I lost 1% and then I lost 2%, I said, cool, we've come to our final region. I'll risk 1 more percent. And if it does work out, then there's a potential to make 16.5% on this particular setup if I hold the entire swing. Now, granted, I'll probably profit take along the way, but I'm still going to massively outweigh the 2% loss that's come from this. And even if I lost the 3rd attempt, which could still happen, there's no guarantee it will sustain. There's no guarantee anything will work in life or in the markets. Even if I lost 3%, I've managed to allocate that risk because I've given you guys almost 40% in the past month in trading opportunities. And besides those 2 losses, very few trades I've given have lost. We've had continuous winner after winner. Some of them have been 4%, 2%, some of them have been 10%, 15%. There's been many opportunities over the past month. So if you're looking at prior history and you think, okay, I've made 30% this month, I can justify a 3% risk because it could bring me 17% or 16%. That's kind of how I look at it. But just going through this again, everyone was saying, you know, we're going to go to 16,000 or 16,500. Now, I said in March, I believe it was, that I believe during the next bullish rally, we're going to peak around 16,000 to 16,500. But I didn't expect it to come so soon. But we haven't actually hit 16,500 yet. So I'm still optimistic we could still see a pullback all the way down towards these regions here. I'll mark out the $8,000 level as well. And bearing in mind, this could go down to $7,000. If I just show you this as well, marking this out, we have a shoulder we have a head, we have another potential shoulder forming over here. So with simple basic Fibonacci retracements, if I was to just plot that there, all the way from the wick here, can you now see how the peak of this candle right here, and if we start cleaning up this chart a little bit, we'll get rid of $8,000 for now. We will leave that fib there. Can you see how the 61.8% retracement aligns with $8,500? The way crypto works, it's very likely going to tap $8,000 anyway. But when you look at the 78.6% retracement, we're also fulfilling not only a 78.6% on a weekly time frame. Remember, this is crucial. Weekly, this is a long-term swing. So when you're looking at the weekly bigger picture, it doesn't matter what's going on the daily, because we have bigger moves that are unfulfilled. We have CME gaps down below, and there's a head and shoulders. I'm spotting this ahead of time, and I'm literally saying if we fall and drop down to this level, it's nothing to fear. It's just fulfilling a much larger candlestick pattern, which could then aim towards the Fibonacci targets, which guess what? Would start taking you back to all-time highs and above all-time highs. Now, because we've already fulfilled technically the 16,000 move, a lot of people are starting to almost copy my calls. People are shifting now to that same bias, but a lot of people are not letting go at the same time. It's a 50-50 chance right now. But it's funny how I was saying this in March. We're going to see this move. We're going to see a pullback. Then we're going to break higher. Now people again are shifting to the same bias, but it's always when it's too late. Some people believe it may go higher, and it very well may do. But because it's been following what I've literally been saying since March, I feel like I'm in a very good synchronization with the markets right now. So I just wanted to give you that overall look and kind of help you understand a bit more why. If you go to the monthly as well and get that fib open, can you see here? This is how I called the $6,000 pullback that time from this region as well last year. Was that, yeah, 1st of May 2019 to July. When we first pulled back from here to there, it was another head and shoulders. If I get rid of this, you can see the shoulder, you can see the head, and you can see another shoulder. And that's exactly what happened. Granted, we hit the $4,000 level, but we also closed on the monthly timeframes at this exact head and shoulder formation, which has boosted us higher. So that's pretty much one simple way to look at it. But let's just go to the short setup now. Let's not look too into, I'm going to be revealing more and more about how I'm kind of doing this stuff soon anyway. But a clear, simple formation here is this. On the daily, if we just zoom in ever so nicely, you can see here we've not only reversed from this region. I gave this region for a pullback, which we'll get into in a second as well. You've got the 3-pin formation there. It does not get any more perfect than that on a daily time frame. And I've said this before, the 3-pin pattern on higher time frames, they're essentially head and shoulders, but with wicks. You can see the shoulder, you can see the head, you can see the shoulder. It's almost showing you a teaser of what is going on in the markets right now. So you can see there how clean that is with the price action, with the candles and wicks. And it's kind of what I saw. Even though I entered the minute we actually tapped into this region, we obviously saw a little spike higher. When we then saw this massive pullback, and we obviously broke the prior wick down below as well, it was inevitable that this was a clear region of resistance and a clear area of liquidity. Price has now broken through. And I posted this on Twitter. I said, if we close around the $14,900 region, or we see closures even below, we will start to anticipate pullbacks into this region here, this exact region of 15,360 to 15,450. You can go on Twitter and check this yourself. And Lord and behold, after seeing this pullback, we've come all the way back up. We closed exactly at my level. We saw the wick fishing through, and many people were copying my calls, and they got stopped out on this, unfortunately. And we can see now, because we were ahead of the game, you can see here how we spiked up, tricking many people into go long. We've then closed even here on this 4-hour candle, despite the fact we jumped all the way from 15,350 all the way up to 15,650. The candle closed and respected my region perfectly. The 2 wicks here, this is almost a mini head and shoulders in itself. It's almost a 3-pin on the daily time frame being reflected on a 4-hour time frame. And I always look for these crucial patterns and signs because it's a very big telltale sign. Now, if we start seeing a significant 4-hour drop, guys, things could get chaotic from here. Now, if we plot a Fibonacci, we've broken through. We've actually respected the 78.6, but we've slightly broken above the 61.8. So using the normal traditional crypto methods, you can simply drag this up to The candlestick, we've respected the 78.6 as well. We've come back and rejected the 61.8 twice now. We could now potentially be heading for a very easy trade down towards 14,340 and $13,900. Now, this is how mad this thing is, obviously. So again, let me just unlock this. If I drop this lower down to the 7,000 region, which is what we was looking at, we could potentially make 18.5% on this particular setup if we swing it the whole way down. Sounds pretty good to me. But for intraday traders, this is something I've mentioned very clearly as well. You can still make, on this particular setup I've given alone from the re-entry, not even from my trade. If you entered my trade, I said this alone was enough profit. That's 2.7% in a single day, doing nothing. And then when you look at what it could potentially become if it fulfills a Fibonacci now, I predicted this before the Fibonacci. I gave you these zones before. That's because I'm doing something very different now, and people don't know what I'm doing, obviously, but I can predict these zones now before the Fibonacci comes through. I can almost predict down where it's going to come to. So because I'm currently working a little bit ahead of the market sometimes, it puts the odds more in our favor. So if this does maintain, you should expect a very significant drop to wipe out this low and take us into this region. And I know a lot of you are in profit right now anyway, so it's down to you. I'm giving you the intradays for cryptos as well now, and unfortunately Bernie has not given me the intraday levels yet, so I've had to find this on my own. A lot of people think that I'm joking when I'm asking him for the intraday levels. He hasn't given them to me, so I'm having to go off my own back to do this here. But so I was just reading some of the comments as well, guys. Bernie, is there anything you want to interrupt with or critique?
No, I think everybody is liking it. Shout out everybody if you're understanding Tory. But yeah, I think everybody doesn't commenting good. Everybody seems to be able to hear you and see you clearly. So all good.
Cool, perfect. I will carry on then in that case.
Unless anybody says anything different.
Am I waffling? Is everyone are you okay with it? Can everyone understand? Can you see the charts? Are you guys in this trade as well? Have you guys been following this call? Because again, I'm just being brutally honest. We took the 2% hit, but obviously this is now paying off beautifully. And also, did you guys catch the re-entry I gave as well? Because I saw many people trying to copy this, but I gave you the exact level. And hopefully, you guys are in profit now. So I just want to know as well who's on sync, who's in sync, and yeah, who caught the trades. It's just good to know. Just wait for the comments quick, and then entered second entry. Sick. Everyone in profit. More info on the community, guys. That's coming soon. Hella people in the trades. Perfect. Okay, that's what I like to see. Beautiful. Bernie's not even looking. He can't take this. Got the re-entry. Okay, guys, that's great. Perfect. I'm going to I'll give you an example of a stop loss as well. Just again, I don't really give stop losses that much because it's teaching you guys to do it yourself. But let's get back to this. Look at that perfection. Look at that perfection. We've entered the zone. If we get the fib out, I've got the mic in the way so I can't see anything. There we go. So we'll leave the fib there because that's obviously going to come through quite nicely now for that potential $13,900 move. I wouldn't be surprised, especially if we start tackling this $14,900 zone. Hopefully this 4 hour just fucking dumps. We just want it to dump. That'll be perfecto. So hopefully that happens, but we'll monitor for the time being. But again, looking at the daily time frame as well, can you just see how we've manipulated this region? We failed to break above. We've got that perfect curvature. I always talk about that sexy curvature, that nice little oof, beautiful. That's a clear sign the market's going to reverse. The daily, bang, tap that region. What are you saying?
No, just some of the sounds that you're coming out with. Is it right over there?
Getting a bit excited. Getting too excited.
Keep going there. Let me stop you. Sorry.
It's another big call. I always get excited when there's a big call. Because guys, I tweeted this as well. I always say this. It always looks unrealistic and impossible in the moment. Again, when we were here on the daily, let's just imagine that's all you saw on the charts. Obviously, no one in their right mind would short that. But that's the whole point. You're not meant to be in the right state of mind. Because the right state of mind is how 99% of retail traders think. No normal person would look at that and go sell. However, if you use several other confluences and other things, you start to see No one would have predicted that really. And now that we've seen that confirmation, this is the problem. When you're jumping in once the confirmation's too late, you've missed the majority of the move. Granted, it went back to entry. We got very lucky. But that's why I'm trying to give you guys the pullbacks, because not everyone believed in it and not everyone wanted to jump on. So as you can see now as well, clear level of support here. We've now come back and we've just fulfilled that region perfecto. So let's just wait for this to come through. Again, I didn't give this stop loss out. This is my personal stop loss, but I did then go on Twitter and say, you could push this all the way up to 16,350. It's a very long-term swing. And if you've done that and you still held all the way down, let's just say to even the CME futures gap, you're still making 9%. Like at the end of the day, you are risking 1% to make that. Most people can't show that in a month. So that's why I'm trying to show you guys, you don't need to worry too much about crypto. You've got to think about spreads as well. Spreads are always a big factor when it comes to crypto trading. So what I'm going to do for now, by the way, I'm looking more at this region here. This is where I gave the prior long trade from this retest here around this region. You see that wick? That's where I believe I gave the last trade long. And the reason why I also gave the potential 3% risk is because we made about 4.7% on this up move here. I gave that trade around there. I don't have Twitter open to show you, but you can go on Twitter, you can go on Instagram. It was all shown. I've given so many of these trades. I said we're going to go long from around this region here up to the 15 to 16,000 region. And then from there, we will short. And that's exactly what's happened. So I'm looking more at the major move down to the downside, coming in at around $12,900 to $13,000. That's what I'm holding for now. If I didn't get stopped out on the first two attempts, I would have entered again. I'm a bit pissed I didn't now because it's looking pretty good. And I could have done with the extra percentage. It would have been great. I wouldn't have minded potentially 30% in a month off 2 trades alone, not including the other setups. But let's put this back to, let's put it to 7,000. Why not? That can go there. Let's lock this and let's minimize this. Now, a good example of a stop loss placement on this. Let's just say you entered at my zone here at the very top. Many people were talking about putting stop losses at 15.7, which technically, from a chart perspective, it wouldn't have wiped you out. But when you accommodate and factor in spreads and brokers, you're going to get wiped out. That's going to take you out. So you don't want to be placing stop losses right where the crucial trading activity is. It's all good having tight stop losses, and you can get away with that on Forex quite a lot because spreads are minimal. But on crypto, spreads are often 30, sometimes 70 pips, maybe 100 pips. You can't be taking those risks. But when you go from this perspective and you minimize this a bit, just use common sense. And this is why I do not give stop losses out, because if the trading activity and all the wicks are here, common sense would be to not put it near this trading activity where price could spike towards. You always want to have it a little bit higher than the prior wick, especially when you're catching tops and bottoms. So in this example, if you had it around here where the prior wick was, and you put this, let's just use the Fibonacci again as an example. So let's just say down to the second Fibonacci target, you're still making 3.5% on that particular setup. And those who have followed and probably followed through on this exact setup, you probably would have got the same result as well. So I was just checking, something pop up there, no. So you could have easily got around 3.5% on this setup if it comes through. If you want to hold this the whole way down, even on a re-entry to the CME futures gap, you're making 10%. So there's a lot that can be done, and there's a lot of opportunities to be made in this market. I'm doing my best to provide those now. So covering this, let me just read the comments again quickly. Everyone on board with that, by the way? Can everyone understand? Can everyone see? Are we understanding what I'm trying to get across here? Are we learning?
You understand, Tory?
Bernie, are you learning? Has this been educational?
Are
you willing to leave behind the Forex market?
Not quite yet.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's been good.
Just looking at the comments quick, and then I'm not going to take as much time on the Ether, Link, and XRP side, because again, this is another thing as well, guys. Very educational to talk about this. Someone said, let's talk about the psychology of the market during the elections and through many other periods of time, especially when things are getting messy. I'm sure Bernie would love to talk about the presidential side, which he kind of touched upon already as well. BTC. When I give you a BTC trade and it's only a BTC trade, there's a reason for that. when people are going, what about XRP? What about Link? What about Monero? What about this? What about that? I'm not giving it out for a reason, because 99% of the time, they're going to follow BTC anyway. We're seeing a little bit of an inverse correlation here and there with the altcoins right now on BTC. Some of them are going a bit higher, some of them are staying lower. But overall, they're going to follow what BTC does. So why would you go out of your way to look at a setup that's potentially not present if I'm giving a BTC setup that is present? Do you get what I mean? If there's a clear as day setup there, why would you try and put yourself in jeopardy or go and take an additional risk if it's not present? There can be more than enough money made on this BTC chart alone. And that's why there were days where I never even touched Ether that much for a long time. But then I jumped in and said, guys, here's a trade on Ether. And that popped. That was beautiful. We had like 4 different trades on there, just back and forth. So it depends on what the chart is showing. Don't feel like you need to be in every pair at every time. Just if you've got 7 pairs running, it doesn't mean every trade's going to work out the same. They can wick fish differently. They might be a bit more stabilized. Focus on or use what I'm giving you to then utilize it on your own pairs. But I always keep things very simple, and that's how things should be. So going over to Ether, again, you can see a very similar formation on the daily now to what BTC's done. You see that again? We've had the curvature, not as nice, not as solid as BTC. Hence why I opted for BTC. However, we've seen that wick fish higher. This was the target I gave. I gave you this trade at $366 here. That was the long I gave. Bang. I actually said there's an arrow chart. I showed you. It's on Twitter. You can see this. I literally drew an arrow and I said, guys, this is the long from this exact region here. I said we're going to go up to $418. I said we're going to pull back to $378, $380. And then I said we're going to go to $450. And we've done exactly that. So that shows we're moving in sync with the market. We even pushed a bit higher. So because of this, and because they're moving a little bit differently to BTC, similar but still different, all I've done, I've just placed this on Ether just to take into consideration. Now, if this does come through, maybe BTC goes with it, and that's fine. I will just simply re-enter again. I don't care, because it's looking like it's going to do exactly what I think it is. So I can justify a little bit of extra risk on that. But the only reason I'm looking at this a bit higher as well is because if we look at this trend line that's been broken, and we kind of plot this over there as accurate as possible around there, you can see, to be fair, I could even draw it from there, but just roughly so you can kind of get what I'm saying here. If I make that a bit stronger, maybe make that blue, can you see how on the 4 hour now we've broken through this major trend line which started at around the region I gave the trades? We've now pushed back lower, we've broken through, so we could be seeing some potential spikes up towards this $477 to $480 region. Now this is where I personally would go short on Ether, and you can see now where I've drawn that zone. If I get rid of these levels now, can you see that's pretty much exactly where the prior high closed? Now I don't know if there's really a Fibonacci on this, maybe there is. Can always do that to check as well. There's no damage in doing so. We're kind of there already. So if we go to the 4 hour now, you can see we broke above the fib temporarily, the 78.6. We've come back down. So there's not necessarily a solid Fibonacci setup for this, but that's the beauty of crypto. Sometimes what everyone else is looking at will not come through. So just take this region into consideration, because if we do see this come through, however that comes through around this region, let's go to the 4 hour here. And what we'll do is, where this wick has peaked around this region here, anywhere around there, we can even plot this and make this a second zone from that wick there. Let me just drag this all the way over. So roughly, let's take into consideration, let's make this green. Anywhere around here with potential wick fish in there. So all we would do in this situation, if we do see the push higher, we'll try and look to short around $480, and stop loss would be maybe here. We would then look to go short. Now my downside target for Ether, which I've covered already, after we saw the movement I fulfilled to this exact region, we've come through the ABC. Now I'm looking at D coming through at $200. And I said this the other day and Bernie was like, huh? But he was like, that's a long way down. And I was like, yeah.
Go about that.
But I do believe this is going to come down to $200. Because if BTC starts dropping, all the way down to potentially correct itself at anywhere from 7, 8, not 6. We need to get rid of this now, but anywhere around $7,000. We're looking at potentially a 50% retracement from where we are right now. Therefore, Ether, 50% retracement approximately is going to be around $200 region. I know it's not exactly $200, but my mind is fixed on $200 and I'm not changing from that. If I go to the weekly time frame here, something about this area, maybe even $125. Don't quote me on that, but this looks juicy to me. So I'm keeping this fixated for now. I think $200 Ether is going to come through. And this is something I need to touch on as well. Don't be afraid. It's a good opportunity for investors. Don't look at it. If you listen to the media, if you listen to all them little cartoon characters on Twitter that just chat shit, they're obviously going to say, oh my God, this is tragic. But no, it's a good opportunity to buy at a better price. If you're investing for the long term, 5, 10, 20 years, why wouldn't you want BTC to be at $7,000? Why wouldn't you want Ether to be at $200? It's better for you in the long run, and it's giving you a better opportunity. So even if we just get rid of this trend line, just keep your eyes peeled on this region here, around 480, potentially spiking here, just shorts around this region. And again, looking at an approximate setup on this swing, you're looking at another 16, 17% if this swing comes through. So if we go over to Link, first short I gave, many people didn't believe this. Again, I should have given this zone out, but we were setting up the live. Sorry about that. But here we are, this head and shoulders here. We saw the break above. I said, guys, pay attention to this level. I said, just wait. 12.20 region to around 12.30. I said, just be careful. We broke above. We came back down. Bang. We then formed the head and shoulders. The shoulder, the head, the shoulder. I gave the short from this level, and unfortunately, I took profit at this level here. I had intraday levels. This is something you'll be seeing in the future as well. So we entered short from around here, I believe it was. Stop loss was like there, almost hit stop loss. So around this region, I had the 1.5% profit and I had the 2% profit. That was the intraday target. So I'm giving you guys swings and intradays. And then when BTC done a bit of a madness, this ended up going lower. I gave you a 6.5% trade on Link when everyone thought it was going up. And that's why you have to understand, just because people are invested in a coin, it's in their best interest to say it's going to go up, but it doesn't mean it will go up. The charts sometimes show different things. So we saw that level come through, another head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder. It pinged up and reversed. So now what I'm looking at with this level, I believe if I put a Fibonacci on this bad boy as well now, probably not even from there, bang, perfecto. It lines up again exactly with our zone. Now, many people do not believe this with Link. I think we've missed the reversal and trade opportunity from this now. But I believe Link is going to $9 next. And then I believe it's going to $4 to $3. BTC, let's go to the 4 hour. What's this doing right now? Not bad. If BTC drops as well, Link is going to $4 to $3. And many people are going to hate that. Because even when I called the short from this region here, everyone was going, you crazy. We're going to $20 again. This is going to boom. Because they're only looking at the 1 hour time frame. If you're only looking at this, yeah. If you're only looking at the 4 hour, yeah, of course, all you're going to think is this is going to continue breaking new highs. But you need to look at the market from both perspectives. And for me, this area here, $9 at the bare minimum should be coming through. If BTC begins to take a little cheeky tumble, this area is coming through. And a lot of people are not going to like that, but I'm just being honest. Now, XRP, I believe this is the reversal point from a daily perspective. This line here, just for those who don't know, you may remember, I think it was, what date was it? Around, 12th of March this year. I done a live buy-in for £30,000 worth of XRP, and it's been pretty good so far, to be fair. It doubled in value at one point, turned into 60 grand. Now it's just fluctuating down to this region. But I'm going to be perfectly honest, the same I believe is going to happen for XRP. When we see a pullback, I'm looking at anywhere from around 20 to 16 cents again. So if it comes back down, I'll probably just buy some more. But I said this anyway, I'm buying here understanding it will potentially come all the way back down to this level, and that's fine by me. I could take some profits now, but I don't really want to chance it. The thing is with XRP, I've seen what it can do before. Nobody believed me in 2017 when I said it would go over $1. They thought I was just shilling a coin that I'd invested a lot of money into. And then when it happened, people change their mind. So I'm going to stick to the same bias and say, even though I do think this will go down, XRP tends to be very unpredictable. And if we look at what's going on in the world right now, with the elections, with the economy, the whole monetary system, the lockdown, COVID, cashless society, that's a story for another day. That's a topic for a podcast or a video in itself with Bernie. I know he has a lot to say about cashless society as well. Guys, this thing could just pop. As much as I want to say it's going to go down, I'm just not taking my chances and selling this yet. Because if this starts pinging back to all-time highs, then that 30 grand will potentially be hundreds of thousands to $1 million. So I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to let that do its thing. But from a weekly perspective, very quickly before I pass this over to Bernie, you can see we're ranging nicely within this region of 24 cents to 26 and let's just say 26.5 cents approximately. Go into the daily right now. Seen a nice push higher, but again, you see how those candle bodies are not breaching this area where the prior candle bodies and wicks have closed. So if we just mark that off over there and draw that lower, you see we're still closing in this exact region where prior trading activity has occurred. Huge spikes down. So we've gone from support, resistance, 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 resistance again. This is also copying what BTC and Ether have done on the daily. It's come down, it's retested that prior spike region and liquidity zone. It's done the exact same here as well. And now we're seeing the exact same thing, except this time, which is why it could be a bit more bearish, it's actually come down and just tapped below. It hasn't even gone into the wick region. So all I've done for XRP, this, look, again, where I've just marked that exact zone, it's actually just reversed from perfectly. So that could just start dumping into the 22 cents region again as well. So overall, we are looking at a bearish shift for the crypto market. So just keep your eyes peeled on this region. We'll draw a little fib as well. So yeah, oh, that's perfect. So we've got the 61.8 that hasn't been fulfilled yet. Watch out for that. But I am just cautious of this region here. I'm keeping my eyes peeled on, just push that a little bit higher. We're looking at around 0.26250 to around 0.26450. This is where I would probably short XRP from. And again, I would be holding that down to at least 22 cents. But I would be expecting that to potentially tumble the whole way down and fill this entire empty space over here as well. So that's what's on my mind right now. That's what I'm looking at. But hopefully this has made a lot more sense to everyone as well. So when we move forward now, I'm giving you the intraday trades, I'm giving you some swing trades, and I'm explaining all this wacky stuff that can seem crazy at the time. Hopefully now this makes a lot more sense. So that's probably got it out of the way. But yeah, that's pretty much me from the crypto side for now. Bernie, Doran.
Let's get it popping.
We will let BD take over. Yeah. I'm gonna fuck me. I'm knackered.
You was going in. There's quite a few questions that people are asking. So maybe just after your crypto part, if you want to answer a few questions, then we'll get stuck into the forex. But I think a few people thought this was even live because he weren't answering the questions. So yeah, people shout out your questions quickly, and we can, or Tori can answer them now, and then we can move on to the forex.
Amazing. Yeah, let's answer some questions, guys. Ask away. I'll try and pick the best ones.
Amazing content. A few people. Bernie, you're lit, but I think Tori has the better hoodie. This is lockdown attire.
This is lockdown as well. This is like, guys, this is like a
That's Tori's Sunday best.
These look on us in Dior head to toe during a live webinar.
What was that one?
Hmm?
What was that? What did you just say?
So these lot expect us to be in like Dior head to toe whilst on a live shoot. Thank you guys.
Lockdown attire.
I'm gonna need your guys' hoodie sizes. Can you please speak about ARK USD? But again, that's a good example. There's no need to specifically talk on ARK, because if I've given those cryptos, it's for a reason. It's not like I'm gonna just sack them off from the portfolio and then just say no, that's it, it's done. I've given them for a reason. I don't talk about them because that's how I treat my crypto investments. I don't need to be honest, guys, I barely even do research. I actually tweeted this. I barely feel the need to research about crypto every single day, because I've been doing the research for years and years now. So I already know where this space is headed, and all the research I've done 3, 4, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, is coming to real life now. So it's like the research I'd done back then has proven itself, and it's starting to become a reality. So there's no need to get yourself locked in every day and say, you know, I've invested in this. Is it good? There's no point, because if you've done your research before you've invested into a project, you can check up every now and then. There's nothing wrong with knowing everything about it, but the space is heading in the right direction. You do not need to be locked in there every day like a fundamental analyst trying to figure out if this is good or bad. The market is heading in the right direction. Just because the prices do not necessarily reflect that right now, it doesn't mean it's not working out in your favor. Let's see what else we got.
Someone's angry. Someone said how to calculate risk for crypto. Tyrone,
we'll do it. Oh, Tyrone. Oh, lots of angry faces. Tyrone Watson. Maybe I'll do a video on that in the future, or we can do a video on that together. We'll get to that soon. Tori USO Colvit. Thanks, Big Hobie. MyBus23. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Thank you guys as well, everyone. I'm loving these comments. Let's see what else we got. Do you use Elliott wave theory? No, I don't even know what that is. That's something I saw on MT4 when I like first ever opened it.
a lot of people ask about that.
What is it?
I don't even know, but what I know because I've seen like pictures of it. I think is it, you know, that when you see people putting bats on their charts and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like the triangles and stuff.
Yeah, all that mad shit.
We've never used it, but guys, if you're asking about it, you can tell by our answer that we don't use it. You've never seen us use it. You've never seen us talk about it. So
yeah,
disregard it. You don't need that. Look how simple our charts are, and it's literally price action and understanding the charts. That's all you need. You don't need Elliott wave theories and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think our charts are the biggest giveaway of how we trade. A lot of people are trying to replicate this now, but we are just using levels and zones predominantly. Maybe I'll throw in a bit of Fibonacci, especially for crypto, because it's necessary, but we keep it as simple as possible. What we are showing you is all you need to look at a chart. You don't need a bat. You don't need an orangutan, as someone just said. You don't need all this madness. You don't need Fibonacci spirals. Like, you don't need a Da Vinci Code to read a chart. It's all there in the candles and the wicks, and I've always said that.
I'm going to try and show and explain that a little bit when I go through it as well, because my chart is very, very clear, but it's just using your brain and also trading what you see and not what you think. Sometimes, like for instance, now people probably, before the market's even opened, they want the market to move in a certain way because of either in a position or they just want to see like a massive reversal or something. But it's obvious what's in front of you sometimes. So just do what the charts are telling you and stop trying to just like make the charts do what you want it to do, because it doesn't work like that. But it's just simplicity is key. Just the levels that we're using, clean charts, and just understanding. Once you understand the charts.
Because that's a good example. Like someone mentioned, like you mentioned the bat, and someone mentioned the Bart Simpson. They call it the Bart on crypto as well. It's like, just because you place like a shape on a chart and it ends up touching the corners of that shape, it doesn't mean the formation's been fulfilled. Like people have drawn dicks on charts before on crypto, and they've been like, it's fulfilled the penis formation, and I'm like, no, I don't think that's how the crypto markets are functioning. Unfortunately, I don't think that's what they're doing at CME futures. You got to understand that it's very simple. It's candles, and it's down to just looking at charts over a long time as well.
I think we'll try and explain a little bit as I go over mine, but as a little bit of a disclaimer, we have picked possibly the worst time to do some live analysis on the Forex market.
What's the time?
It is about to open, but we've had... So let me jump onto the charts and let me explain what I'm going to say a little bit.
Perfect. Give me a sec, Bernie. Let me just... Your charts, yep. Can you move your charts? Let's just test. You are, yep. You got 3 charts open, yeah?
Yeah, now it's 1.
Yeah, perfect. Just checking you're moving.
Yeah. You see everything? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see a chart. Very nice, very clean, very blue.
You know me. Right. Okay, cool. Can everybody see my chart and can everybody hear me clearly?
Yes.
Not you. Yes.
Got shut down real quick. I'm looking forward to market open actually.
So I'm going to just basically go through a few things. Sometimes, guys, you can't always call every single move in the market on a Sunday or when you do your analysis. Sometimes you have to be a little bit more patient because there's certain weeks in the market, which I'm just going to run over now and just explain a little bit more to you. Everybody can see. Okay, cool. So at the moment, guys, dollar index, this is the dollar index. A lot of people have been following me for a while now. I always start off with this because it is the US dollar measuring the dollar against the top major pairs. So watching this helps you understand what the US dollar is doing. Just for quickly, for any newbies in here, obviously, if you see this chart moving down, the dollar index, the weaker the US dollar, and moving up is stronger US dollar. But understanding what this chart is doing helps you understand a large percentage of the forex market, because obviously the major currency in the world is the US dollar. So, like I was just saying, this is one of those weeks. I've said this a few times before that every 1 to 2 months, there's a week where you have to be careful when you're doing your analysis, because it could be where the market is about to change and it's going to change in a new direction. It's basically a make or break week. And I'm going to explain that to you now so you understand why. We're at a point, and especially because of the huge fundamentals over the weekend, where we're going to go, it's either going to continue in the way that it's been going for the last couple of weeks or the last couple of months, or we're going to see that change. And to see a change in the market and to see a big change, we always need fundamentals. It's not going to happen on its own. We need big fundamentals. Now, obviously, there's no bigger fundamentals than the fundamentals that are happening right now, and that's happened over the weekend, which could potentially be have the biggest effect on the market that we're going to see in 2020. We don't know. I'm very, very interested to see what's going to happen really in the next sort of, what time is it now? In 5 minutes, the market opens. So yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen here. So I'm going to start off with the US dollar and tell you at the moment what I think. Another little tip, guys, you might want to note this down, is often a lot of people might be looking to take a trade early in the week on a Monday, Tuesday, especially if it's in the opposite direction. Trend changes don't normally happen till mid part of the week. The market goes through cycles on a weekly basis, daily basis, weekly basis, and also monthly basis. That's why I said every now and again, you have to understand where the market is, and you can't say 100% what's going to happen. You have to let the market play out a little bit more in the following week to then make decisions. So we might need to be patient on Monday and Tuesday and let the market play out a little bit so we can understand where it's going to go next. Now, what do I mean by that? Right, for instance, this is the US dollar. We know that this is, just quickly, so you can understand what I mean, this is the previous low that the US dollar has made. It's been on a downfall since back in March, at the height of when the news came out about the coronavirus. Now, if in the next couple of days we break this low, we know that this trend that we're currently in is just going to continue down. You can see here we're making lower lows, lower highs, and we may come down and make a lower low. But should we then see some support here and we push back up, it may be time for a change. So those little things there, just having a bit of patience, are very, very important. Now, what I expect to see over the next couple of days, a couple of weeks, or yeah, a couple of days really. I'm just going to go to this chart here. On the 4-hour chart, you can see we broke this low from last week. So the US dollar is in a downtrend. You can see that from the daily chart, but here we can see this is the daily chart, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Pullback made a lower high up here, and now we're trying to come down and take out this low over here to continue down and make a lower low. So overall, on the daily chart, we are in a downtrend. So the clever trade, like I've said in the last few market breakdowns, I mentioned the clever trade is to go with the trend. The old saying, the trend is your friend. So what I'm expecting here at the moment is we can see here on the dollar index that price has pushed down, broken through. Let's get rid of this for a minute so we don't confuse you. Price has broken down past the prior low last week. Now we dip lower, taking out that low, and we then have the very important daily low over here. Now at the moment, I don't expect to see a turnaround in the market unless the news comes out and we see a massive change straight away. I don't see a change in the market just yet. I do think that the US dollar is going to continue this bearish push down. We're going to come out and take out this low and make that lower low before making any change in the market. So what I'm looking at early in the week at the moment is price to pull back into sort of this region here before continuing this push down lower. So we just dropped down to the 1 hour chart. You can see here price had its little push down, made a little run from last week at the end of the week. Thursday, Friday, we had non-farm payroll. There's lots of news that came out at the end of last week, but now we have to see how the market's going to open and understand or handle the news of the new president that happened over the weekend. But I think there's going to be too many people trying to see a reversal on this just yet. But at the moment, I still see some more downside for the US dollar. So I'm expected to see a pullback. And what I'm going to be doing is being patient. I'm going to look for a pullback here on the US dollar to come back into sort of this zone here. We can see it's a cluster of resistance. You can see resistance, 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 this whole area. Price is going to come back here and test this level. Then once we test that level, we're going to see the next move down. As we push back down from here, this is where it's going to be very, very important, maybe Monday stroke Tuesday, to see if we find any support in this area to try and sustain this move back up. But my bet at the moment, or my thinking at the moment, is that we're more than likely going to carry on with the heavy selling pressure of the US dollar and continue to see in this push down to the downside. So I'm going to be looking at taking short trades on the US dollar, but perhaps waiting for a little pullback first, back up into this region, and then looking for a sell-off. So I'm going to be looking at that. I'm just showing you the US dollar first because I'm going to then be able to explain a lot more on other pairs after. But when we see this sell-off, this is where, as I said, the smart trade is, waiting for a pullback and continuing the US dollar sell-off. However, when we get to this area here, if we were to see any buying pressure, I would potentially look at it to see if we might see a little short to medium term move back up to the upside. So we might see a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. But overall, I'm still short on the US dollar, and I think that we can see continue a push down to the downside. Let's go back to the 4 hour. Continue a push to the downside, potentially come and look at taking out this daily candle here over on the left-hand side. So I'm looking at price very, very bearish on Friday as we closed, but it was non-farm payroll. So we know that we had that fundamentals that came out on, Friday. So we have to let the market settle this week. But I do think that price is going to come and try and attack this area of price over here, and then take this out and potentially take out this low before looking at taking a reversal back up to the upside, if any. As I said, that's a trade and something a bridge we can cross once we get to it. But what I'm going to be looking is to see if this can pull back into sort of this region and then look for a short down. But now that you understand my overall view on the US dollar, you're going to understand my thoughts on pairs that are affected by the US dollar even more. So does everybody understand that? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is that clear on the chat? Does everybody understand it on the chat?
Yeah, let's let the chat update a bit.
But yeah, fancy analysing the US dollar.
Market's open.
Is it open now?
Mm-hmm.
10 o'clock, no big move. Little move up on Euro USD. The dollar index is a bit later though. Yeah, very small gap on Euro USD. Let's have a look at that in a second. Very minor.
Lots of people confirming. Someone called you daddy. Nice.
Okay, cool. So as I said, I'm looking at potential pullback here, and I think we could see some more selling on the US dollar, and we get that little pullback. So what I'm looking at on the Euro USD, so I've got 3 charts here. I want to go through these charts. I want to just break this down quite well and just run over. We didn't do a video last week, but we done a video the week before and everything played out. So I just want to run over things so that you guys can learn a little bit from it as well. So here we'll just start off with Euro USD. You can see it looks very, very bullish at the moment. This is why I'm still short on the US dollar. You can see here, this is the daily chart. As you can see here, this is the daily chart. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 bullish days last week. For nearly all of last week, we saw the US dollar sell off, and I don't think we're about to change just yet. I explained on a quick market update on midweek. I think it was actually 2 days ago. I wasn't expecting to, do not try and short this just yet. That price is going to come up and take out this high, and we've come up and done that at the moment. But it's literally make or break times for Euro USD. At the moment, we're looking very, very bullish. I think we might see price. What I'm expecting here is for price to find some resistance where we are now. Maybe see a little pullback. Seen as we're at resistance, quite simple. You can see here, daily, we've hit daily resistance. So we can expect to potentially see a little bit of a pullback, but I'm still looking for this to continue up higher. And like I said on the dollar index, where this prior low is looking very, very suspect at the moment to be taken out. This prior low over here. Likewise with Euro US dollar, this hit a point of 1.200 back in September the 1st, tapped that level perfectly. You can see 1.200, and we've been pushing down since. But however, we're very, very bullish at the moment, especially last week. Unless we see a huge change on market open, which we're not seeing now, I think that we can see more upside. So let me just quickly go to this chart, guys. Hopefully you're following this and understand. My yellow arrows are the arrows from previous videos, and sort of greeny blue color are what I think is going to happen next. So I'm just going to run it back about a week or 2 weeks ago. So in the hot picks, we explained we're waiting for a little nudge down into this highlighted region to look for a long trade. That long trade was to come up and take out this high over here. Once we reach that, we explained that we're going to be looking for shorts from this region to come back down. So you can see here that price took out this prior high over here. Once that was done, you can remove this. You can see here that we've made a higher low, we made a higher high from here. So now we're going to come back down and make a higher low. As you can see here, we then came down, took out this area of support as expected. And we came down a little bit lower. So we came down, took out this level of support. So we had the nice short lows, if you caught the short from here, came all the way back down into this region. And then we had 2 levels of support to watch from. We came down, took out this level, just blasted straight through this, came back, retest, and came back down. But then where loads of you, and I was very impressed, who've been watching the videos recently, took a nice long trade from here. Because as I keep saying, I always say, there's always that manipulation, but what does price do 90% of the time before making a reversal, especially a strong reversal like this, is we take out the prior low. So here we had a fake support, bringing in buyers, early buyers, but what I always explain in the community is we nearly always see price retest a support more than once. You very, very rarely see price come down and then move off in one direction. Price will come up, but it'll always come down to retest that level again. And as you can see here, it's taking out that prior level here and here, taking out any stop losses that were sitting below these levels here. And once they're taken out, then you can see that price then makes a move back up to the upside. But not going into that too much, just running over, we can see that we called this pair sort of beautifully over the past couple of weeks. But what can we expect now is more important. What we can see here is the daily. So to just make this more clear. I just want to keep this really simple just to make you guys understand how simple it is, as me and Tori were just talking about a minute ago. You can see here, price has literally come down, taken out that low. double bottom, and that's moving up to the upside. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 very, very bullish candles. And at the moment, nothing looks like it's really going to stop it here. We have to understand to go with the market. So what I'm expecting is to see, just as I mentioned a minute ago, is to see price potentially push up a little bit higher. I was expecting market to gap open a little bit higher, but from here, I'm expecting this bullish trend to continue. So from here, we've had a push from A to what potentially we'll find out where this B is going to be in the next few hours or today, is a push up to these sort of regions here. Then I'm going to be looking for a pull back down before looking for that long back up to the upside. And what this works well with is, as I said, my analysis on the dollar index. So you can see here on the US dollar index, obviously I'm expecting this to push back, pull back first, and then push to the downside to somewhere around these regions. So I'll be watching the two charts. So obviously the flip side with Euro USD means that I'm expecting to find some resistance around this area here. I'll be watching, but the clever trade is looking for this buy trade, for the buy, because the momentum is to the upside. So we've now taken out this high here. We're just taking out that high. I'm going to expect a pullback into sort of these regions here, but then I'll be looking to take a long trade once again. I'll just quickly go to this chart here. Yeah, you can just see quite clearly, see how we've taken out this low has taken out this low here. Price is just taking out this high here. And then I'm expecting price to pull back down. So you could be looking at intraday shorts. I said the clever trade is the push up, because I do believe you can still see this push up higher, potentially come and take out 1.200 and maybe even make new highs, then go on to make new highs before we then see that push back down. Everybody understand that? All clear on your side, Tori?
All clear.
You learning a thing or two?
Nothing I'm not an expert in already. To be fair, you're giving out a lot of gems. I hope people are paying attention.
Sometimes when I'm doing this, I'm not sure if people are taking like the little things that you give up.
It's the most important thing. It's little things you're saying. I'm not even gonna replay what you've said, because I hope they've been picking it up. But that's why I just put it on my story as well. I was like, make sure no one misses the FX breakdown.
I'm going to go for a few more. So basically, guys, we put up a post the other day and asked you guys. I just looked for the top requested, and that's the ones I'm going to go over. And the next time we can do, if you guys want more, please like and comment and let us know, innit? But yeah, if you guys like it, then we'll do more. But I'm going to go over the top requested, and you guys can request the ones for the next live. But yeah, this is what I see at the moment for Euro USD. I see more upside, but we'll be looking for a pullback here. But yeah, it's very dangerous this week, given that it's the US dollar, potentially the worst day or the worst week to try and analyze and try and call the US dollar. So I've got that's basically everything that I'm looking at for the US dollar. I don't want to go over the US dollar too much because, as I said, we don't really know what's going to happen. This is what I think. But out of all the weeks in the year to analyze the US dollar, this is the worst weekend because we've had such huge fundamentals. You guys know that there's an election going on, or has been going on. And with the day, we literally had non-farm payroll on Friday. So Mondays, you should always let the dust settle after a non-farm payroll, because there's a lot of manipulation on Mondays. After non-farm payroll, so then Tuesday, let the dust settle, and Tuesday, Wednesday, we start seeing the real moves in the market. Because of that, I've covered gold. Oh no, gold I haven't covered. So yeah, one more that's influenced by the US dollar is gold. So firstly here, I've just picked out my daily chart, a few more lines than normal. Something that you guys might just want to put on your charts is gold loves the 500 pip intervals. So you got see here, I've got 2000, I've got 1950, I've got 1900, 1850. I don't normally keep it on my charts too much, but yeah, you can see here how well these levels work out. So normally gold loves to play to these levels. And if you go down to 1800, then you go down to say 1750. We can see here resistance. Let's see 1700. You can see here how perfect that was. Broke through above support. So gold has basically been stepping up continuously over the past couple of months. So yeah, I've just left those on there for the moment so you guys can see a little bit of see those levels. But let's go to my main chart at the moment for gold. Now, we've done a quick market update on our Instagram page on Thursday, where we see gold pushed up higher, and explained, do not try and sell gold. Do not try and sell gold here. This was the breakout on gold. I highlighted the daily high on Thursday, so do not try and short this. You've got to be crazy if you're going against it, and that we're going to take out this high at least. And I called out 1973 that we're going to come in and tap into before we see a potential move back down. But at the moment, that move back down is not guaranteed. So the clever trade on gold is obviously longs at the moment. We just have a look at the daily chart on gold and just take things into perspective. We can see we've had a massive move up on gold. We all know that for most of this year. Then we've seen a bit of a correction here, but now it looks like we're breaking out of that correction and we could see this really take off to the upside. I'm not saying it definitely will long term, but what I'm saying is at the moment, in the short to medium term, the clever trade is looking for buys on gold, not looking for trying to short this just yet. You can see here, we've got a clear trend line. We've had a correction. We've broken out of this trend line here. Big bullish candle. Don't be silly and try and short against this at the moment. What I see for gold, and just quickly what I've highlighted here is, I drop down to the 4-hour chart, is you might remember on, I think it was either Hot Picks or one of the IG updates that I've done, I was calling out this level, especially there was a couple of weeks ago, I'd done loads of Instagram lives like most evenings, and I was explaining that gold was trading in this area and we had to tap this level. We were going to come down and take out 1882, I explained it specifically, and 1872, that those levels were going to be taken out before this move up to the upside. So we called this move down and then we called the move up on gold. Now, as I said on the up market update during the week, I didn't actually take this long trade purely because I didn't bother trading the markets last week. Even though it was correct and went with my analysis, I have that self-control that if I decided I don't want to take a trade, then, or I don't want to trade, I don't need to trade. I don't need to chase every move in the market, even though I more or less know what's going to happen. We called this move down and then there was this move up on gold. Now, since this move back down here, we can see we've been very bullish. This is why I've not been looking at taking shorts on gold. We came down, took out this liquidity, took out this support here, and then took out this level of support here. And now we're making a move to the upside. Let's put a Fibonacci on this. So we've come down. We had A, B, C retracement here. And another tip, guys, that you note down, gold loves the 78.6% retracement level. So it came down, took out the low here, tapped that level, and then bang. We've hit the first level of resistance. So we might see a bit of a pullback. We've hit the first Fibonacci extension level here. So we may see a bit of a pullback, but I'm still expecting the second extension to be hit. So what I expect on gold is also to see a pullback, but then also to see a continuation up to the upside. Now, why do I see that? Well, there's a few things here. We've clearly had a strong breakout. We may start off the week having a bit of a pullback. Everybody thinks, oh, it's time to jump on gold shorts and that we're going to see a big push down. Guys, just look at the price action that's in front of you at the moment. Gold is bullish. It's been bullish all week. As I said at the start of the video, trend changes tend not to happen till about midweek. So we might see a little pullback on Monday, the market manipulation on Monday, like I mentioned, especially after non-farm payroll. And then Tuesday, we just see a continuation back up to the upside. So be careful, don't jump in too soon. Now, I'm still expecting gold to come up. We are at levels, however, where I do think there is potential short trades coming up in the next week or so. But I'm going to be waiting until we come up and reach this sort of area. We have one more high over here. In this area, we could potentially see price starting to turn, but I do think that we're going to see this move, this bullish move continue and fulfill that Fibonacci extension level that I just showed you and come up into this region. Now, where have I got this region from? Firstly, we got this high over here. So there's this area over here where there will be the liquidation level, where there will be shorts for people who have taken shorts, and there'll be stop losses just above this high here and this high here. So what is sitting above that? Here we've got this level of resistance. So before we see a move back down, what did I say at the start of the video? Price 90% of the time will come and take out the prior high. So before we see that move back down, if we're going to see a move back down, a short move on gold, if we see a big change in the market in the coming weeks, we're going to take out prior highs first. So I'm expecting price to come up into this region. Now, I've just highlighted this level slightly above, which if you can see on the right of my screen is a 2,000 an ounce level for gold. Now, psychological level, 2,000 for gold, I think may come into play in the coming weeks. Price may push back up into these regions, starts to hit 2,000. Everybody thinks that gold's going to absolutely fly and go to the moon again. But this is the make or break area. This is where if we get the right price action, I would potentially look at taking short trades from around these regions. But I would have to see the price action first. So stay up to date with our IG and our updates, because this is going to be an interesting level. But I'm expecting gold to push up into that region first. But yeah, I will be looking, as I said, the smart trade. I'll be looking to see if there is a pull down here on gold, and I'll be looking at pushing up into that region. So that's what I'm going to be watching out for at the start of the week. So that's the US dollar. And this also plays out, guys. If you see a weaker gold, you're going to see a stronger US dollar. So you're going to see this pullback here. And then when gold gets stronger, you're going to see a weaker US dollar. And then you're going to see this sell off here. So what I've showed you here with the US dollar index, what I've showed you here with Euro USD, and what I've showed you with gold, all play out together. So if one plays out, they normally all play out together because there's the confluence. They all work with each other. Gold and Euro USD usually move very, very similar. And obviously Euro USD and the dollar index are going to be have inverse correlation. Is that clear so far?
Yep.
Is that clear for you, Tori? Is it clear
for me? I don't think a lot of people understand the inverse correlations on that anyway. So that's quite a good point to touch upon.
Let's ask them. Let's see if they ask a few questions on that bit there. Do you guys fully understand what I'm talking about? Have you got any questions there quickly? And then I'm going to move on to a few pairs that aren't USD based. How long was I talking? Was that too long?
No, it wasn't long.
You know me when I start talking about. I go in. How long was that?
It's about 30 minutes.
That wasn't 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, it's been like 30 minutes. I was about to log off.
I go in too much when I start talking about trading. The love of the charts. Was that 30 minutes on those three pairs?
Yeah, generally, because you went live just before market opened. Okay,
cool. I'm sure you guys are liking it. Shout out if you're liking it. No more questions. Bernie, thanks a lot.
If you like it.
I can't wait for the intraday strategy. So guys, yeah, I love giving you these gems because from my point of view, these are things that you need to know as a basic. Like these are just the basics of Forex. So I always run over them. And if you don't know them, it's not a problem, but that's why we're telling you. But it's so that you understand these core fundamentals, and then that makes everything so much easier and so much easier to understand as you move forward. I always start, someone mentioned on Twitter, someone asked for us to cover the US dollar or the dollar index, and someone mentioned that I always start with it. So they've obviously been following me for a while. I would highly recommend that you always look at this first. I always analyze this, and then I start analyzing Euro USD, GBP USD, and so on. And then if Euro USD and GBP USD don't add up to what I'm looking at on the dollar index, I know something's wrong, so I start to reanalyze. So these are key things, and these are gems that I didn't do in my first year or two of trading. You learn them over a long period of time. But yeah, looking at Euro USD helps me understand what the US dollar is going to do as well, because it literally has inverse correlation with the dollar index. May you have a bathroom break? Yes, you can. By calling him Daddy, is a bit mad. Okay, I'm going to go into Euro AED first, because I was going to go into Gbp Jpy, which I will, but it's very, very choppy. Actually, I'm going to cover those two together at the end. So Euro AED, guys, why am I looking at Euro AED? One of the reasons why is because it's not got anything to do directly with the US dollar. So I wanted to look at something that maybe at the start of the week will follow the technicals nicely. It looks like it might be playing out as I'm expecting. So let's have a quick look here. We've had a gap down here. Where's the best way to explain? So just quickly on a daily chart here, we're at a key level of support here on Euro AED. But let me just go back to this chart. Keep it really nice and simple, guys. As you can see, we are in a downtrend. We're in a downtrend. Pull, lower low, lower high, lower low. Just to make it a bit obvious. Big pull down, and we're making lower lows and lower highs. We're in a downtrend. So again, you just look at that and you think, right, what is the clever trade? So the clever trade is obviously, as I said, thing that you learn when you first start trading. The trend is your friend. But then if you want to try and catch bottoms and tops, there's ways to do it. But at the moment, as you can see, this 4-hour candle is the market open. So I'm expecting price to push back down. And this is what I'm expecting from Euro AED. Now, another little tip, if I just go back to how my chart first was, is how can you potentially tell if, sorry, it's not this chart, is it? Yeah. How can you potentially tell if a move is at the end, or something is at the end of a trend? You see here with the Fibonacci tool that I have here, we can see A, B, we had a C retracement, which is perfect for a short entry here, for instance. But then we come down, we broke support, we came down to the first level of the Fibonacci extension, and now we come down to the second. So you can see how we've hit that second quite nicely, and we've rejected. Now, that means that there is a possibility we could be coming towards the end of the trend. But as I said, 1-hour chart, 4-hour chart, any daily chart, you can see that Euro AED is in a downtrend. So low, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So this is why I was looking out for this region here, to look at selling this down back into sort of these, potentially back down to the lows for Euro AED. Let's see, did I have another chart? Yeah, potentially looking at coming back down on Euro AED back into these regions here. There's 2 levels I'm going to be watching out for Euro AED. I want to try and take the short trade, but it's not really going to happen now because we've had this massive gap. So it's already gapped 40 pips down. What I was ideally looking for, guys, was a short trade from around these regions on Euro AED. We might still get it. It might come back up. I'm looking for a short back into potentially the lows.
That looks like a nice setup.
Yeah, or potentially coming lower. Now, as I did show with the Fibonacci, that there is a potential that we might be coming towards the end of the trend. And here we can see that we obviously got an area of support. So something I wanted to get into a little bit, maybe not too much tonight, was the clever trade here, which I wanted to take, but you can see the market is gapped open. Price was trading here. I want to see another nudge into this area for us to try and grab a short here, was to take that short trade down and trade it down into this region at least. If we did find some support here, then we might be in for a trend reversal later in the week. We might be seeing a left shoulder here, left shoulder, head, we might see a right shoulder. But given the fact that we would have had a nice short here, I was looking at then if we got the price action, then there was a potential long trade back up. But at the moment, you can see the market hasn't been good to us on market open, and it does look like we're going to see this to continue pushing down lower, unless we see a little pullback into these regions in the next few hours, maybe later in the Asian session or early in London session tomorrow. So at the moment, guys, it's kind of ruined my analysis seeing this push down. We've had, as I said there, you can see from where we were, we've dropped down 55 pips, the 55 pips I was hoping to get. But I'll watch this and see. But what I'm ideally looking out for on Euro AED is for price to pull back into this region. We see some resistance here. I'll be looking to short this down. But where we might be seeing a potential reversal here, because as I said, we might have seen that this has come to the end of the trend using that Fibonacci extension. And here you can see we've got levels of support. Once price reaches these levels, we might be in for a short to medium term swing trade. So the reason I really wanted to grab the short was because I could take some profit by the time I get to this level, and then I could hedge a trade for taking a long, risking a small percentage. And if this was to lose, I would still have my original short trade. Hedge trading is something we'll have to get into another day. But basically, I do potentially see a setup here as well, all depending on what's happened here over the next few hours. But I do potentially see a long trade. So keep up to date with my IG as well. I'm going to be going hard on IG this week, guys, and keeping you guys up to date on Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, as I said, now that the market's gapped open, I'll have to come back to this one and see. Price is pushing back up here. As you can see, we might get a nice short trade from here, and I'll follow it up with a potential nice short to medium term swing trade from this level later in the week. But just mark those levels on. We might see a reversal from these areas. But for the moment, if this can come back up into this level here, this region, then I will be looking at taking a short. Hopefully that hasn't confused you too much, guys. Did that get a bit too confusing where I'm talking about hedge trading, guys? Did that get a bit confusing, Tori?
No, not really. I understand it. There's a comment saying in all capitals, please throw hedging on a scheduled live call. It's lit. So I don't think it's confusing.
There's a lot of people that don't understand hedge trading. It's very, very, very important and a massive part of trading. And retail traders don't know it and don't use it.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very, very powerful tool. But hopefully, in a nutshell, I'm hoping that this pops up and I will be looking at potentially taking a short trade here. From around this region, but we'll catch up with that.
Yeah. But if it does dip a bit lower, you can also go long into that region first. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah,
but I ideally don't want to take the long unless I had to short. So I think we'll just wait this one out a little bit. Wait if this comes up and from these areas here, and I'll be looking at price to potentially look at taking a nice little short trade down. Because the reason is that why is this the clever trade? I keep saying is because obviously we're in a downtrend. So we get to here and it's absolutely dumps that it comes out, takes out the prior low, makes a new lower low, and you get this really nice move. So lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. See here, this has a little bit more room to come up and test this lower high here. So we can come up into this region. And if this finds resistance here, then we're going to see a move down. But even if this is going to break above this last lower high here and start to be a change in trend, then what we're going to do is we're going to likely see it come down to this level here. And then it has to come back. It has to basically confirm that it's making a higher low before that move back up.
I like the look of that setup.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense, guys? Cool. So the last couple quick ones, Gbp Jpy. This is very choppy. Let's quickly go Gbp Jpy. We just go to the lower time frame. This is 1 hour. This has been Gbp Jpy most of last week. We dipped out of this range slightly, but choppy on the 1 hour. Stuck between a 70 pip range, high, low, and we're stuck right bang in the middle of that. If you could, so right now we're right bang in the middle of this range. So it's very, very choppy. But what happens when you're in the range? Manipulation, guys. It's going to get manipulated. So if you can identify that you're in a range right now, and you're trying to take a long or a short, you're probably going to get sorry for my French, but you're probably going to get fucked either way, because you're trying to take a trade right bang in the middle of this range. What price is going to do, whichever way it's going to go, price is going to either make a fake out to the upside before making a move to the downside, or it's going to make a move to the downside before making the real move to the upside. So you need to be patient and wait. Now, if I quickly go to this chart and show you what I'm thinking is going to happen, is I'm looking for price to come down on Gbp Jpy. I would ideally like to try and take a short if we could pull back up into this region. If we did see price, as I just said, with that range, come back up, potentially test the top of this range, come up into this region here. If we saw price come up here, then we saw rejection, I'd like to look for a short trade down. It is a bit risky because overall, I do think that Gbp Jpy is going to push up higher. So even if you just be patient, guys, and you don't get this short trade down, I do think that we're going to see price push down from here into this support region down here, where then I think longer term, medium to longer term, we're going to see a bigger push up on Gbp Jpy. So that is my view at the moment. You can see here, resistance, resistance, resistance. We're not going to drop. We're probably going to try and take out some of this region here, then come down, take out this low on the 4 hour. And then if that holds, then we're going to come up and take out. Because why? Because this is then the start of a new trend. But I think this is the first area of support. There's probably a lot of liquidation, a lot of stop losses sitting below here. The pricing might come down. If it dips into this level and rejects, then we want to be loading up and looking at longs. And we're going to come up, take out the previous high, higher high, higher low, and then make a new higher high. Euro JPY is a similar situation. I'm looking at trying to potentially short Euro JPY early in the week. And Euro JPY kind of follows my analysis on Gbp JPY. We're in a tight little rut here, a bit of a range. I'm expecting price to come up into sort of this regions as it is right now. And we'll be looking at for this to push down into these levels, come down into 122.22, come down into sort of 121.95 into that region. Might even take out this low before seeing that move back up to the upside as well. So I'm going to be looking at a potential short trade on Euro JPY probably tomorrow, not on market open, not during the Asian session. Japanese yen pair, let it breathe, let it do its thing at the start of the week. But I'm going to be watching out for, as I said, a potential move back down from sort of where we are into this region. And then from that region, then I'll be looking at potentially taking a hedge trade, long trade back up. This is also, if I just quickly go back to the 4 hour, guys, this is also a potential short to medium term trend change here on Euro JPY. You can see here, this area of support, we came through, made a head, came back up, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If we pull back into this area and hold as support again, then we could be looking at a nice trade up for a nice swing trade. But again, I would ideally want to get that short trade back down as protection, obviously make the money on that trade, take it down, hold a small percentage of that, and then when taking a long trade can hedge back up. But I'm looking at Euro JPY, putting back down into this region first, taking out this low. I believe that Euro JPY will take out 122.22. So I'm looking for price to come down, take this out before making a move back up to the upside. So watching out for shorts on that early this week. And then as I said, this is a euro pair, so it kind of lines up with the euro side of what I was saying about euro AED. There is a potential that euro could pull back down to this level and have a push back up to the upside, that head and shoulders on euro AED there, left shoulder, head, potential right shoulder, Euro JPY, as I said, left shoulder here, head, potential right shoulder to have a push back up to the upside. You gonna say something, Tori?
No, I was just eating chocolate.
Yeah, and that follows Gbp Jpy. So looking at that sort of set up there, NZD USD is one that I'm potentially just keeping my eye on. Only reason being is because there's not a lot of news this week, but we do have New Zealand dollar news on Wednesday, whether that's going to affect it. But New Zealand dollar is very interesting at the moment. We're at highs that we haven't been able to break through. So let's go back to the weekly highs, weekly resistance that we haven't been able to break through. Weekly resistance 1, 2, 3. Last week we just took out the high. So at the moment this is trending higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. This is making a higher high. If we do see a pullback, we might see a pullback on the US dollar, but I'm expecting this to push up and take out these highs. And then a quick one, US oil. Haven't got too much thoughts on this one at the moment. US oil, we've had a really big push up over the 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Having taken out these prior lows over here on the daily. You can see here came out, took out this low. But at the moment with this push up, I'm expecting more upside with oil. However, I do think we might come out and just come down a little bit lower. As you could see here on my Fibonacci, here we're at that 38%. That's very weak level to try and buy off. I think we could come down to this sort of 50% retracement level, which you can see lines up sort of this area over here, which is that previous resistance over here. So at the moment, I'm bullish on oil. I think we can still see more upside with oil. So I'm going to be looking at taking long trades overall. At the moment, we've got this 1 hour support from Friday. You can see here lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. I think this is going to get tested first. We might see a little pullback. I think we can come down, come a little bit lower on oil before potentially seeing a nice big move back up to the upside. So if we can grab this move to the upside, it could be a great trade because you could potentially see a big push back up. I think we're going to come out and take out these highs. I don't think this is going to be a definitive high for too long on oil, just 39.25. I think we can push through that, come up into that $40 region and push up even higher. So that's my views on that, and that's about it. How's that sound, Tori? Do you understand?
I was balancing that with reading the comments. Sorry, the comments are just mad.
We've been on a live for quite a while, so guys, we're gonna. If you guys like these lives, it's been quite an in-depth one today. But obviously, please like the YouTube video, but leave a comment and let us know what pairs you'd like to see us cover the most on the next one. This is our first one, so we can easily jump on some more of these, Tori.
Yeah, definitely. I really liked it. I had a lot of fun. 2 hours, just flat out analysis. It's been good. It's down to what these guys want as well. Guys, you've got to let us know in the comments whatever it is you want, certain pairs. Are you understanding what we're saying? Again, from Bernie's side especially, I'll just vouch. Obviously, whenever he gives these setups, we saw, was it 2 weeks ago now? Every single thing just came through. It's literally there in black and white. It's not complex, doesn't need to be overcomplicated, no magical stuff. It's just there.
It's like, can you still see my screen?
Yeah, and you're also giving us lines and arrows to show us what to do, which is
important. We actually, on EURUSD, we called this little pullback first. So I said, take notes, guys. I said, when we done the live on the Sunday, or not the live, but the market update, I explained to wait for this pullback first. So even that mini pullback first, and just as Tori was saying, we just explained then the long to this level. Then we explained that you could take a short, and this was like over a week, and then we call this long. So that video is still there if you guys want to go back and watch it. It was either hot picks. It was one of our last videos on our YouTube channel. You can see that I explained to wait for this pullback, then the long, and then the short down. And I said, we can't update you every minute of the day, but here you can see how well that followed through. You're looking at 170 pips to the upside, let's call it 150, then you're looking at about 200 back down, and then the same back up again. So yeah, obviously this week, the only disclaimer we'll have is that the US dollar is going to be quite potentially volatile. We don't know what's going to happen with the fundamentals that are affecting it, but this is a good guide on what I expect and what I'm going to be looking out for, and the setups that I'm going to be looking out for this week.
Cool.
So this could add up, just nudge up a little bit higher, and then you're going to be looking for this to pull back down. But yeah.
Guys, I'm reading the comments about BTC. Everyone's saying check again, do another insight. What about the pump? That's not a pump. I've been watching BTC the whole time whilst watching Bernie as well. That's not a pump. And that's a good example there of human psychology. Just to finish off, everyone's going, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's like $50, $100. That's not something I even worry about. The trade's been placed. The risk has been calculated. The stop loss is in place. You got to let it do its thing, man. Just chill. You guys have got to just take it easy. Let the market do its thing. And that's it. It's not even worth worrying about. If it hits stop loss, let it hit stop loss. But that's not a pump. That is literally just price pushing upwards. 4 hour, daily, weekly. That's it.
But yeah, just on the back of that, guys, as I said, I took all of last week off trading because we had 25%, 25% weeks the 2 weeks before. So it was election week. So just decided that I didn't need to trade and to kick back and relax. But having kicked back and relaxed, I'm looking to go very hard this week. So I'm going to be doing lots of Instagram lives, and they could be sporadic through the day, in the evening. So put your post notifications on for innovation page for our IG lives, because I'm going to be going in hard this week, guys. So keep up with it. We'll be giving out lots of information.
I'll jump on that with you. One of them. Yeah,
definitely. As I say, guys, when we say obviously like the video and leave the comments lets us know what you guys want. So I literally took these pairs from our last IG post. We asked you guys what you would like. The majority said US dollar, gold, Gbp Jpy, and oil. So that's what we covered. If you guys let us know, then we'll change up the pairs for next time.
Yeah, sounds good. Again, just let the crypto side as well. I'm always going to stick to the basics: BTC, Ether, Link, and XRP. However, if there's any alts you guys want, then obviously I'll look into doing that as well. But overall, everything does follow BTC. But I'm happy to provide anything.
Other than that, yeah, quite surprised about that. Market open didn't really do much.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, right now?
I would have thought that would have made a bit of a move, but let's see what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow morning. Back to lockdown then, I guess.
Back to lockdown indeed. Surely there's people trading from home, institutions.
Say that again?
There should be institutions trading from home.
Yeah, everyone's
coordinated insider trading.
Great job, you guys. Okay, good to see the feedback, guys. US 30, haven't had a look at that, so we'll cover that one. Please leave a comment and we'll get that one. I think US 30 next then. Seems to be a big one. You like US 30, Tori?
I love it. It's one of my favourites.
We can cover that together.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll start showing the intraday level.
We could even start going over some pairs together as well. We could do that in future lives if that's what people want. We can do a bit of a back-to-back. You can jump on some crypto pairs as well. I know you love a bit of crypto deep down.
I'll take over crypto for a week. You do Forex.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, cool, guys. Thank you for everybody who joined in. It's nice to see all your comments and feedback and support, really. So yeah, thank you, guys.
Definitely, guys. Thank you so much as well. Just touch off what Bernie said. Overwhelmed with the feedback, madness. So many comments I can't explain. I've been trying to keep up with them all, but there's a lot more lives where this came from. We'll make this a frequent thing as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I just seen.
Sorry?
No, that's something I thought I saw something, but yeah, cool. All right, thanks, guys. We'll speak to you soon. As I said, keep up to date with our IG because we are going to be hitting the charts hard this week. So speak to you soon.
yeah, catch up soon, guys. Have a great evening. And again, catch us on our socials where more updates will follow. Peace. Bernie, you out?
I'm out. See you later.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, 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 ciao.